Hey, what's going on YouTube? Today I'm finally answering a question that I keep getting in my comments, and that is how to play Armed Dragons in Master Duel moving forward, because we had not just one, but two separate ban lists, and one of them in particular hit our deck pretty damn hard, making Crossout limited to 1 and Pot of Prosperity limited to 1. Both of those were huge hits to the deck, as my last profile was running 3 Pot of Prosperity, 3 Crossout Designator, because those are two very phenomenal cards that really tied the deck together. So how do we play moving forward? How do we get past this? Well, I'll tell you one thing, it's not adventure. I know everybody and their mom is like, oh, just throw adventure in the deck. That's how we're gonna negate Nibiru and Imperm. But when you do that and you don't even have prosperities to back it up, you're relying on 6 starters instead of your usual 12. So your consistency is just down the toilets. And you need to be playing Small World, and then you need to be playing like a ton of monsters, and you have to discard so much. Like a lot of the times I don't even have enough to facilitate my combos if I want to go into the adventure engine first, and there's just so many reasons not to run adventure. Just take my word for it, don't do it, it's really bad. Pure Armed Dragon is away, and I'm going to show you how to compensate for the loss of Crossout and Prosperity. Do keep in mind that this isn't just a 1-for-1 replacement. Like, nothing is going to change the fact that our deck got nerfed, but we can definitely do what we can to make it as competitive as possible. And I still think it's a relatively good deck. It's still an easy Diamond 1 grind. You're just gonna get hit with hand traps a little bit more often than before. So here's the list. Before I get into the details, make sure you leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. I cover a lot of different Armed Dragon builds and just all sorts of Yu-Gi-Oh stuff on this channel. And it just really helps out the channel, keeps me motivated to make more videos like this one. Anyway, some of the changes I made from the last list, I bumped Armed Dragon Flash from a 1 of extender to a 3 of starter, because this just specials level 3, and level 3 is a starter. It gets you into Galaxy Tomahawk, even if you have to discard a little bit more than what you would like to. At the end of the day, getting into Tomahawk just wins you the duel. So we have the 3 Flash, 3 Pile, 3 Turtle, and 3 Armed Dragon Thunder level 3. If I'm skimming over these, don't worry, I'll have all the card names in the description below. So yeah, we have 12 different starters that can get us into a Galaxy Tomahawk, which is pretty sick. The tricky part wasn't solving the consistency, because that was an easy fix, just add more Armed Dragon Flash. The real challenge was trying to find an answer for hand traps, and luckily the new ban list actually gave us one. Red Reboot. I'm playing 2 copies of this. This will negate Infinite Impermanence, which is like the #1 hand trap that stops us. Everyone's on 3 Imperm. Not everyone's playing Valor. People are usually only playing 1 or 2 Nibiru. I'm more worried about Imperm than anything, and Red Reboot negates Infinite Impermanence. Now, they do get this at a trap card, but that's fine. We have all the link fodder in the world with Galaxy Tomahawk, so during our link climb we can go into Knightmare Phoenix and pop that back row so they don't have it for the next turn. As for Nibiru, again, people aren't running a lot of Nibiru. People usually just throw in 1 or 2 and draw it off Maxx. So the best thing you can do is just negate the Maxx. So you'll want to play the 2 Call Buys and the 3 Ash Blossoms, 5 different ways to negate Maxx. You also have that 1 of Prosperity to dig for those cards, so you'll see them pretty often, but that isn't a good enough answer for me. I want to be able to play through Nibiru, I want to be able to play through Imperm if it happens, even though we have ways to prevent it. So if I'm not drawing my outs to them, I am drawing my new extenders, and the main one here is going to be Lightning, Dragon Ruler of Drafts. This card I found unnecessary when we had Crossout Designator, but now that we don't have Crossout Designator, the extra extender really helps. So this is going to discard one of your wind or dragon monsters, special summon Tempest directly from your deck, and that means Tempest hasn't used his effect, so once you use him for your rank 7, he's gonna be able to special summon himself back from the graveyard. This also triggers your Armed Dragon Thunder effects, so what I like to do is use it to pitch Armed Dragon Thunder level 5 or 7 and then search for a Pile Armed Dragon. But since you're not searching Tempest, and if you already have access to Pile, you can search for another new extender, Nowru. This is searchable off Armed Dragon Thunder level 5, and this guy is just going to special summon himself from the graveyard by discarding a level 5 or higher wind monster, which does trigger your Armed Dragon effects again. We're literally just playing it for the level 7, but what's neat is it gets banished when it leaves the field, but it won't matter because we're using it as Xyz material. And it does have a silly effect where if it gets destroyed by battle or card effect, you get to banish a card on the field, and you know, your opponent's never going to do that, but if you really need to sit on something and you're in a grind game, maybe that can come come up, but this combined with lightning usually makes for an easy Tomahawk as long as you're drawing lightning, and if you aren't drawing the lightning, you're probably drawing an out to the hand trap anyways. That's kind of the logic behind this deck. I have some other changes to the deck as well. I figured since I'm no longer restricted to running specific hand traps for Crossout Designator, I use Dark Roller no more now because it's just such a good blowout card, especially in a best of one format. I also cut White Veil, but I'm still playing the Armed Dragon level 10 white. I think he's a great follow-up if you have extra gas for your turn 1 in case, you know, they break your board and then you have a clapback for turn 3. Otherwise, he's just a nice extender if you need to play past something or you need to bait out some kind of interruption. He's pretty neat, so I think he's still worth playing even without the White Veil. I took out the White Veil because, you know, I figured we have 2 red reboot. We don't need more back row removal in this deck. The extra deck is pretty much the same as last time, but you need the extra Tomahawk this time because if you get Impermanent Nibiru, you need to play through it because you don't have Crossout Designator anymore. It's also nice to have some other rank 7s. You can try out the new Odd Eyes Rebellion Dragon Overlord if you want. I personally don't want to spend URs, but I'm also using the Flare Metal Dragon. It's just some nice burn damage, it's an indestructible body, and Dark Armed is nice to bait out back row and stuff in a simplified game state. Another thing, I think Hieratic Seals is better now that Crossout is gone, because if we are more susceptible to hand traps, then this is a nice link too that the deck makes super easily. It's just a nice bounce interruption and gets you resources from your deck, so definitely include Hieratic Seals. Otherwise, the deck's basically the same. So now you've seen the deck list, which again, by the way, it's in the description below if you need card names. I'm going to show you some combos over on EDO Pro. The main thing I want to show you guys is how to make a second Galaxy Tomahawk. Now, there's no specific hand on how to do it. This is just an example that I kind of pulled out of my ass. But basically, if you're drawing Lightning and or Catapult Turtle, you have a very good chance of making that second Tomahawk in case you get hit with an Imperm or a Nib. And if you aren't drawing all these cards, you're drawing your outs to the hand traps anyways. That's kind of my logic behind this. So in this case, I'm just going to go ahead and normal summon the Catapult Turtle, activate his effect, tributing himself, summoning Thunder level 5 directly from the deck. Then I'm going to use Lightning to discard the Thunder level 5, and then I'm going to special summon Tempest, and then Thunder level 5 is going to activate and search for a Nowru. Nowru is our new extender, of course. I'm going to pitch the Nowru in order to special summon Pile Armed Dragon from the deck. Pile Armed Dragon is going to activate his effect to send a Thunder level 7 from the deck, and this is going to look a little weird, but you have to add either a Pile Armed Dragon or another Thunder level 7 or a Thunder level 5, because it has to be a level 5 or higher dragon monster. So unfortunately, you won't be able to trigger an Armed Dragon effect with Nowru at this point, but you will later in the game if you get into a grind game, which is nice. So for now, we're going to go into our first Galaxy Tomahawk. We're going to activate Tomahawk's effect, and oh no, my opponent has an interruption. They're going to negate my Tomahawk. So now my Tomahawk's negated. What will I do? Well, I'm going to activate Nowru's effect first of all, pitching my Pile Armed Dragon that I added to my hand, special summoning Nowru, and then I'm going to activate Tempest's effect to banish 2 Armed Dragons in my graveyard. And then that way I can make a second Galaxy Tomahawk. Whoa, and this thing isn't once per turn. So yeah, we're just going to be a degenerate, make 4 more tokens onto the field. And from here, you don't have full combo because you can't use IP Masquerena plus the infinite negates. Personally, here's what I would do. I would make the Harpie Conductor first, then I would make the Simorgh link, and then I would make a IP Masquerena, because I can't do IP Masquerena plus infinite negates. In my opinion, infinite negates isn't worth it at that point because they can just normal summon and swing over the bird once I've negated one thing. So instead, I'm going to link off this token for a Link Spider. So I have a Knightmare Unicorn bounce, and during the end phase, my Simorgh will special summon my Apex Avian, and I have a big chunky Omni Negate. If you're newer to the deck and you want to see what the full combo looks like, well, it's usually going to require opening Pile Armed Dragon or multiple Thunders in your hand, so I'm just going to use Pile and level 5 as an example. Level 5 is going to get sent for the cost of Pile summoning himself, which will trigger Thunder level 5 to search for a Tempest. And then I can use Pile's second effect to send level 7 from my deck to the grave. And you can search Armed Dragon Flash, but honestly, there's no point. We haven't used our normal summon. I'm just going to search for the level 3. Then I can use the Tempest and special summon it by banishing these 2 armed dragons in my grave. I'm going to Xyz into Galaxy Tomahawk, of course. We're going to summon him in the extra monster zone. Very important that you do that, otherwise you miss out on some bodies on the board. And then I'm going to special summon 5 tokens. Now the funny thing about this is I could have literally had Ash Blossom in my hand and that would have been full combo. Like, as long as you have full combo plus 1 extra body, or not full combo, but like 1 Tomahawk plus any extra body on the board, that is full combo. It can again literally be an Ash Blossom, it doesn't matter. So I'm gonna go into the Harpie Conductor and then link into the Apex Avian, and then I'm gonna go into Union Carrier. I always go into Union Carrier first because that one's a little bit more specific for its requirements. I'm gonna activate Union Carrier targeting the Simorgh. That's going to equip the Mist Valley Thunderbird, which is gonna, you know, do our infinite negate loop. Then I will normal summon my little Cheeto boy and then link him off into an IP Masquerena. And that is basically your full power end board. It's going to special summon the Apex Avian during the end phase. You have an untargetable Omni Negate. You have a loop with Mist Valley Thunderbird. Every time you negate, the Thunderbird will special itself back onto the field. You can keep bouncing it back. Your IP Masquerena is going to link summon during your opponent's turn. It's very important to have with the infinite negates because your opponent can just normal summon something and swing over the 1100 bird that's causing the loop. So you need to be able to go into Mekk-Knight Crusadia Avramax, which is going to redirect attacks and always gain the attack of whatever is battling it. If you're going second with this combo, instead of doing that end board, what I typically do is I go with the Harpie Conductor still, and then I will go ahead and make like Link Spiders, so I can go into Knightmare cards, so we can just go into Knightmare Phoenix, pop a back row. You can go into Cerberus if you want to. You can go into Knightmare Unicorn as well, or you can go into IP Masquerena and then make an indestructible Accesscode Talker, and that way you can blow up the board. When you're done, you can link off the Accesscode Talker into a Simorgh, or you can normal summon something if you didn't use your normal summon for this, and then link off your normal with the Harpie Conductor to make Simorgh, and that way you still have an indestructible beefy Accesscode, which is kind of hard to out at 4,300. Anyways, that's all I got for you guys today. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure you leave a like and subscribe. It really helps out. And yeah, I just hope this video was helpful. Like, I hope you guys are able to enjoy Armed Dragons again in Master Duel, because I know some of you guys were struggling. Anyways, peace.